What is up, guys? Welcome back to the KC Sports Memes podcast. This is Megatron, and I am joined by Marvin and Drew. And Tony is not with us this week, but how are you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
No, it's weird. It's weird not having all four of us. It's been a while since we just had three.
Did he die? Or he quit?
We weren't going to talk about that.
Oh, right. Sorry. I mean,
No, just kidding. He's fine. He's fine. All right. We got a great show lined up for you guys. We'll be talking about the NBA a little bit. We'll talk about some NFL news. We'll run through the six games, key games from this past week. Then we'll talk about the Chiefs game, do a Chiefs recap, and then looking forward to playoffs. I'm really pumped about this year's playoffs. But real quick, before we get into things, I'd like to take a quick moment to talk about a company that reached out to us, Phoenix. Really great company. They have the supplements, gear, apparel, anything you need for working out, staying healthy. I've never been disappointed with their products. I actually used quite a few of their products. So, yeah, they gave us a code to give to you guys, FNXKCSM. If you use that on their website, you get 15% off your purchase. Highly recommend them. They've always been great with us. Like I said, always love using their products. So first off, NBA. Great season so far, which we'll talk about more once NFL comes to a close. But we wanted to mention a few things that have happened so far, especially this last week. One of those being Steph Curry. It seemed like, people haven't really heard that much about him lately. A few years ago he was big, and then it seems like he kind of fell off a little bit. But he had a career high of 62 points in the game against the Trailblazers, trying to make something of that team there without Thompson. Warriors won that 137-122. Insane game by him. I mean, he's always, like I said, he's always been good, but I just haven't heard as much about him as before. So this is really cool to see for him. Anything else that stood out to you guys?
Yeah, the Brooklyn Nets game. Not much, just the fact that the Nets had two chances to win the game. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant had a chance to shoot the game-winning bucket, and both of them missed it, and they lost to Washington, 123-122. I thought that was just really stupid, because at least one of them should have made it. It was, it was dumb.
Yeah, obviously Kyrie Irving known for the shot to win the Cavaliers of 2016 finals, and Durant one of the most clutch players in the league. Very disappointing. I think the Nets will get it figured out, though. Long season ahead. They got too much talent not to.
I suppose.
Yeah. Kevin Durant's going to be out for 7 days, though. He's quarantined.
Yeah, that's crazy with all the injuries or different stuff like that going on in the NBA so far. So hopefully, these teams will get it figured out.
Yeah, it's good to see Curry finally get it figured out. That's his career high at 63 points, was it?
62.
62?
Yeah.
And just showing up. I think he was feeling maybe a little bit disrespected, He was out most of last season. His team's struggling this season, and he shows up and shows out. Another player that's shown out is Tobias Harris, won Player of the Week on the 5-1 or 6-1, I think, after tonight, 76ers. Right now, best team in basketball, and he's been balling out for him. Then him, Ben Simmons, and their only loss came without Joel Embiid, still probably their best player.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how the season goes. Like I said, hopefully playing a full season this time. But looking forward to talking about it more in depth pretty soon. So going from that, jump into the NFL. Before we go to the games, 3 coaches were fired. Chargers fired Anthony Lynn, Jaguars fired Doug Marrone, and Jets fired Adam Gase after 2 seasons with them. How do you think this impacts each of these teams? Do you think like that was the only problem they had? I know it's not like the only problem, but do you think these teams will grow from this?
I think the Jets just ruined their chance of going to the Super Bowl because obviously Adam Gase was going to get him there next season.
True.
No, but seriously, the Jets, they should have done this weeks ago. They should have fired him before they fired their defensive guy. And yeah, they should have done this long time ago. What will it do for the Jets moving forward? They'll probably hire another bad coach unless they hire our offensive guy. Eric, what's his name? I can't pronounce his last name.
Bieniemy.
Yeah, that guy. If they hire him, then they might be in better shape. But, it's the Jets, so that's probably not going to happen. As for the Chargers, I was saying this a few weeks ago that if they fire their coach, they're going to be in hot water. And guess what they did? They fired their coach, which was not smart in my opinion. But, I don't work in the NFL, so I don't know squat. And as for the Jaguars, yeah, good thing he did that. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I think Adam Gase was probably the worst coach in the NFL after Bill O'Brien got fired early in the season. Definitely a no-brainer there. Did win a couple of games down the stretch, but he's not been good. The Jaguars, obviously the worst team in football this year. Definitely need a change up at the top for them. And the Chargers, obviously the most controversial move out of the 3. But overall, I think I like this move. They've been too good. They've had too many good teams to not have playoff success. And now they got a young quarterback. They got to get something going quick before that rookie contract is up. And so I do like the move. I've never been a big Anthony Lynn guy, and I think that it should help the Chargers.
Yeah, this is coming off of a 4-0 streak by them to end the season. I'm hoping this does something for them. Obviously, division rival, but still, like I've been saying for the past few weeks, as an NFL fan, I do want to see them, succeed. He said they have too many good players there. They have, too good of a team there to just keep wasting it away.
Yeah, they got Mike Williams, who can catch the ball from anywhere, Austin Eckler, and then Keenan Allen will come back. They got Joey Bosa on the defense, Derwin James. So,
yeah,
good team.
And Herbert's already doing insane. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, looking at the game against the Chiefs. But, yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the future there for them and seeing what happens there at head coach. Jumping into the key games from this past week. First up, that Texans-Titans game. The main reason I wanted to talk about this one was because of something that Marvin mentioned last week. J.J. Watt did a press conference after the game last week and basically called out anybody that wasn't working like they should. He said how much of a privilege it is to even play in the NFL, and a lot of the team was being too lazy. So I was really excited for this game, really hoping they'd play good, and they did. It seemed to give them the boost that they needed, and they had a really hard-fought game. Titans, Henry had a really good game this game, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have 2 fumbles, but only one of those was recovered by the Texans. And then on the Texans side, Watson had an insane game, as he always does, almost 400 yards passing. Fairbairn was 4 for 4 on field goals and 2 for 3 on extra points. And you see at the end of that game, Watson drives his team down the field. They kick a 51-yard field goal with 18 seconds left to tie the game at 38. And that seemed to be was going to take it into overtime. That's what I thought. I think that's what everyone thought. And Tannehill drops back at the Titans 25. And his receiver beats his man in getting them down to the 20 of the Texans, where Sloman hit the upright. and still went in to win the game. Insane game. I was really proud of the Texans for stepping up that game and playing that good against a team that's going to the playoffs now. What do you guys think about this Texans team? Do you think they'll bounce back? Because I mean, they were a playoff team last year, and then this season, to me, was a complete shock. It was a complete turnaround from what they had just done.
Yeah, disappointing is the only word that comes to mind when I think about the Texans. They came from a division winner the year before in a division that had a team that went to the AFC Championship game in the Titans. And then you lose Hopkins, right? And don't get me wrong, he's a fantastic receiver, but I don't think any team losing one player, unless it's a quarterback, should fall all the way down to 4 wins from 10. Just very embarrassing stuff. Not been playing good football. And even though this was encouraging, this game where they were able to score 38 points, who hasn't been scoring on this Titans defense? We know the identity of the Titans. They're going to score a bunch of points, and they're going to let up a bunch of points. So as encouraging as this game may look, their defense still didn't play well. They're very disappointing. And with the J.J. Watt thing, I don't blame him for wanting out, but it'll be interesting to see where it's going to go from here. They'll obviously probably get a new coach. Bieniemy looks like he may be the front runner for that job. And they still got Deshaun Watson, one of the best quarterbacks in football. So hopefully they can get it turned around. But who knows? This was a big drop-off without Hopkins.
Yeah, if they don't figure out something quick within the next few months, Watt's going to be on his way out of there for sure. And, just look at the future in general. If Houston doesn't get back to the playoffs, at least within the next couple seasons, I can honestly see Watson wanting out too. And that's their franchise quarterback, a player that they've never really had in their franchise history. And if they let him walk, they have themselves to blame. So, Texans I was going to say that they need to figure things out quick.
Yeah, because, imagine, Watson on that, was it 2013 team that we played and went we scored 30-0 to win that game in the wild card game. Imagine 2015 was it? Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, imagine them having an actually good quarterback at that time. Like you said, they haven't had a guy like this, or at least not in a long time. And so, yeah, they definitely need to be able to turn something around soon.
Yeah. Didn't that Texans team start 3 quarterbacks that season, and the one they played in the playoffs only played a couple games or something like that?
It was Brian Hoyer who played in that game.
Yeah.
So that explains it.
Yeah.
Why it was 30-0. Yeah,
True.
I think they did play a few quarterbacks that season.
Yeah, they've had no stability at that position, and Watson could be that if they can keep him there. He did sign that extension, but if they don't start playing well, he could demand a trade, and they will not have too much leverage to keep him.
Yeah. Yeah, and then on the Titans side, Titans, like I said, going into the playoffs, kind of a rough game, I think, anyways, to get ready to go in the playoffs. I'll bring it up later, but yeah, Titans winning that one 41-38, really high scoring game there. Next up, Bills versus Dolphins. This one, Dolphins just needed to win to make it into the playoffs, and I thought maybe they could at first. I didn't really know who all was playing for the Bills, but Bills are already going to go to the playoffs, so I thought maybe they may rest some guys, and this may be a close game. Dolphins may win this game. It was not a close game at all. What do you have on this one, Drew?
Another disappointing game. The Miami Dolphins. Coming into this game, Tua was going to be the starter. And you had to think to yourself, what will it take to get Ryan Fitzpatrick in this game? And it would be a total Tua breakdown. I feel like we saw that this game. He threw 3 interceptions to 1 touchdown. I think 2 of those coming in the first half. He did not play good at all, and they never even thought about switching to Fitzpatrick. Josh Allen, the Bills just dominated them, scoring 56 points in a 30-point blowout. Not only this, Josh Allen stopped playing in the third quarter. It was a 20-point game at this point, around 20 points, and the Bills ended up winning by 30. The Dolphins collapsed even farther when Josh Allen was out of this game. Dolphins played horrible in this game. Overall, as an entire team, the defense played horrible. If you let up 60 points, you don't deserve to win. And overall, just very disappointing for the Dolphins trying to fight for their playoff lives. And the Bills may look like the most dominant team in football right now. They've just been blowing teams out. And ever since that Arizona Cardinals Hail Mary that they lost that third game for them this season, they've been on a roll.
Yeah, no, Barkley even threw a touchdown to the backup there for the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that kind of shows – I think I said it last week that Dolphins just don't look playoff ready. I think they could be in a few years. I mean, since they were this close. But right now, I'm kind of glad they didn't make it because of that. Because I don't know, like having two quarterbacks, play is like kind of cool, but at the same time, it shows that Tua doesn't have what it takes to play late in the game. With like Fitzpatrick coming in that Raiders game and winning it, like that might be interesting to do, but at the same time, it shows that your starting quarterback can't get it done, and so I'm kind of glad this happened. I did not expect it to be by that much at all. Yeah.
And on Tua, I would say he doesn't have that yet. I still
Yeah.
think Tua will get it turned around, but definitely this season did not have that playoff quarterback vibe.
He's only a rookie, though. You got to give him that.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough getting thrown in there. I mean, I think I brought this up before too, but with like Baker Mayfield and stuff, he kind of just got thrown into that Browns organization, didn't really do anything for a little bit, but then now is really turning it around and really playing good in the NFL. I know I saw a lot of people sharing Tua's comments after, was it his third week starting or something like that, when he said, I really thought the NFL was going to be more difficult than this or something like that. And then, sharing it under this game. But yeah, no, I'm definitely not counting him out. I'm excited to see this Dolphins team see what they do with Tua.
And they still won 10 games. That's easily playoffs in the NFC. So they had a good season.
Yeah, and look at last year. They started they only got 5 wins, and they started 0-7 or something. I don't remember what it was, but they were tanking all year, and then all of a sudden they clicked. So I think Tua has what? Yeah, like the Jets. I think Tua has the potential to be the franchise quarterback, but I think it's going to be a few years, like Baker Mayfield, or it took a couple of years.
Yeah, not everybody's a Justin Herbert, where you just get thrown into a game and then break a bunch of rookie records. But yeah. Next game wasn't very surprising. Browns versus Steelers. I saw this one coming, not only because the Steelers hadn't been doing as good lately, but mainly because, Mason Rudolph was quarterback. Rudolph and Garrett, though, seemed to have better attitudes towards each other this time, thankfully, because it was dangerous last time. Marvin, what do you have on this one?
Well, going into this game, the minute the Steelers benched Big Ben for Mason Rudolph, I think it was pretty obvious how that game was going to go. But Steelers had other plans. Cleveland Browns had their destiny, the playoff hopes, in their control. With a win, they're in. With a loss, they had to rely on the Colts to lose the Jaguars. Yeah, that wasn't going to happen. And the Steelers started coming back in the fourth quarter, and Browns got a little bit scared, and somehow, some way, the Browns squeezed out with a 24-22 win. In the game, Mayfield threw the ball 27 times, had 17 completions, a 63.0 completion percentage, 196 passing yards, and 1 passing touchdown. As for Rudolph, he threw the ball 39 times, had 22 completions, a 56.4 completion percentage, 315 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and 1 interception. So technically, Rudolph had a better game. But, the Browns haven't been in the playoffs for 17 years. And the Browns were this close. I thought the Browns were going to do what Browns always do, mess it up and miss the playoffs again. But watching this game, I saw a different side to the Browns. They found a way to win. They finished the season 11-5, their best record since coming back in the NFL back in 1999, I want to say, whatever year that was. And Browns are playing Steelers in the playoffs, and I'm sure we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Browns look good. They won. Then again, it was the Pittsburgh backup squad. So
I mean, and you have a lot of the guys for the Steelers coming back from injuries. I was talking about that the other day with someone that when the Steelers started losing, I think a lot of people just saw the Steelers were losing, and that was it. But they didn't see all the key players, that they had injured at that time. And, I mean, Connor was back in this game. I think he might have been back last week too. But, he's coming back. But, yeah, even like Mayfield, I was looking at some of the stats, and he was second most for the team in rushing too, with 44 yards on 6 rushes. So yeah, he had a really good game. I think it'll be interesting to see this matchup again. Yeah, with Big Ben back in there. I think it'll be a good game, but like you said, we'll talk about it later. But yeah, I figured this would be the outcome of this one.
Yeah, I didn't think Mayfield had played as well as he's played in other games this season, but I don't know. The Browns won, so I guess that's good. They're in the playoffs.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see playoff Mayfield too, if it's better, worse, the same. Because a lot of quarterbacks, are known for being either one of those, better or worse. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles it.
Watch him go to the Super Bowl.
Beat the Chiefs. Steelers,
Hey.
Bills, just all the teams.
Hey, if the Browns did it, like if the Chiefs didn't throw it away and the Browns actually beat us, you got to give them that. You got it.
That's true.
But, it's not happened, so.
Yeah, no.
No point in talking about it.
Yeah, I just want to say that the Steelers in this game look like they have a different demeanor to them a little bit. On that 3-game losing streak, yes, they were missing players, but they were missing players this game too. They lost by 2 points to a playoff Browns team. Now, how they lose this game? They had a 2-point conversion attempt that failed. They were that close to tying the game and going to overtime. This team without Ben Roethlisberger and without their best defensive player, TJ Watt, plus they've still got those injuries to players like Bud Dupree. This team just feels different. I think that Mike Tomlin has done something to flip that switch that they had to have happen going into the playoffs in order for them to be a competitive team, because they weren't playing well. And yes, the injuries played a factor, but they just were not playing well as an organization. They were not playing well. Even their players that were healthy weren't playing well. This team looks different, and I'm excited to see where they could go in this playoff run.
One and done.
Yeah. We'll see.
That'd be nice, though.
One team that I think is going to do really well in the playoffs is the Ravens. That Ravens versus Bengals game, I know there wasn't that much to talk about with it, but one of the reasons I wanted to talk about him was because of the Ravens. First, I just want to say that I'm really looking forward to this Burrow-led Bengals team next season. I think they have some promise there. They have some potential there. So, hopefully he can get back and stay healthy and have a full season. But then, on the Ravens side, Lamar Jackson, he was not having, in my opinion, the best season starting out. I know he had quite a few good games, but he just didn't seem the same. When he first came into the league, I remember I was at the Chiefs-Ravens game a couple years ago, and I thought he was going to get shut down easily. I thought he was going to get figured out really easily, but he's heating up now after coming back from COVID. He played a really good game, even though, you could say it was against the Bengals, but still, this offense is really connecting right now as they're headed towards the playoffs. Lamar, watching him in that game, can scramble and run, or he can run on the setup rushing plays. They have Dobbins, Edwards, Ingram there at running back, Brown or different ones like that at wide receiver. I think they look like a really dangerous team going into playoffs. Like I said, I don't think they had the best season starting out. I don't think Lamar had the best season starting out, but they're heating up at just the right time, and I think they'll definitely be a team to watch out for.
Yeah, if you look at when did Lamar Jackson start his heat up? It was against the Cleveland Browns the week after he came back from the COVID list.
Mm-hmm.
That is when he started heating up. He's been looking like his MVP form from last year. He's looked fantastic. This Bengals team was on a 2-game win streak. They beat the Steelers when the Steelers were still struggling, and then they beat the Texans. Neither of those big wins, but this team was still winning a couple of games, even without Joe Burrow. Ravens just come in here, shut it down. This is the third in a row week I think that they've blown a team out. All games that they should win, but none of them have been close. They're playing very, very good football. We can't forget that Lamar Jackson's 0-2 in the playoffs, and the Tennessee Titans last year took advantage of Lamar Jackson being a little bit one-dimensional. But this team looks very scary. They look just like their team last year, and it should be very interesting.
Yeah, because, I mean, I know Marvin says it too, and I agree to an extent that, he's just a running back, basically. But, I mean, I saw even in this game that he can throw when he needs to. He can throw it deep. He can throw it accurate. Ravens winning that 38-3. Like I said, not even close.
Well, if the Ravens do good in the playoffs and they play the Chiefs, I expect it to go the way it's gone the past 3 matchups with Mahomes on the winning side.
Yeah. Now, I think we'll win, but I still think they'll be a dangerous team. I don't look forward to playing them if we do end up playing them.
I'm not saying it's not going to be a blowout or anything.
Yeah.
It's going to be like it was the first 3 times. It's going to be until the finish. Well,
but like before,
2 times, but yeah.
Yeah, like earlier in the season, I wasn't super worried about it. I was like, oh, they don't look that bad. But now that they're heating up, I think it'll be a lot tougher game than it seemed like before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too scared of it. I feel like we've owned them in all 3 of the matchups. I think the Ravens are probably right now the 4th hottest team in football behind the Packers, Bills, and Chiefs. But I just don't think that they really stand much of a chance against the Chiefs. The matchup is just not good for the Ravens.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Titans are the ones that should be worried about the Ravens, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They're not the same team they were last year.
And even if the Ravens manage to play like the Bills in the next round, that could be an interesting matchup as well.
Yeah. No, I think that would be a close game there. But yeah, then another game with playoff implications that we saw was the Rams and Cardinals game. Cardinals seemed like they were having a good season, but they couldn't get anything going in this game. Both teams ended up being without their starting quarterbacks due to injuries at least some point in this game. Murray coming back in the game, but still couldn't get it going. What do you have on this one, Drew?
Yeah, I was trying to say it last week. I thought that if Kyler Murray did not play, the Rams would win this game. I think the battle of the backup quarterbacks would go to the Rams. Kyler plays one drive, gets hurt, comes back in the 4th quarter, and it was a little bit of too little too late there at the end of the game. And they just struggled without Kyler Murray. This Rams defense is better than the Cardinals defense, and they have more playmakers than the Cardinals defense as a whole. The Cardinals have better receivers, obviously, with Hopkins and with Fitzgerald there. But this Rams team is still better. I would say that they're still better coached. I like McVay over Cliff Kingsbury. And a very good win. The Rams needed this win. If the Rams would have lost this and the Bears would have won, they would have been out. Obviously, the Bears ended up losing to the Packers. But the Rams needed this game as well. And it just shows that they have a team that could win without Goff. And if Goff gets in, they could be a little dangerous here in the playoffs.
Yeah, Wolford played a good game too. I mean, he didn't have any passing touchdowns. But, 231 yards. Also led his team in rushing with 56 yards. So, yeah.
He's got an arm.
He's got 2.
Yeah. Yeah, and that got him into the playoffs there, and knocking the Cardinals out.
which is interesting because could this be Fitzgerald's last season? I mean, he's getting older, and now they're out of the playoffs. It's interesting. Did we see his last game?
I saw some talk about that, but I also saw that I can't remember who it was that said if it was one of the coaches or what, but they said that it doesn't seem like it will be. I mean, yeah, he's getting older, but I don't see a reason for him to stop with how good he is still. I mean, one of the top receivers, probably one of the most underrated receivers. I mean, I know people say how good he is and everything, but it's always Hopkins or different ones like that get the most talk because of the young guys getting it done. But he's one of the most consistent receivers probably of all time. Like, so
Yeah, and this Cardinals team should only get better when you look at the youth on this team. So I really hope he gets to stay around and experience a playoff berth next year.
yeah,
They should, because they should have been there this year, technically.
Mhm.
They just had a collapse later in the season. I don't know what that was.
49ers lost cost them in week 16.
True.
yeah.
Stupid 49ers.
Stupid 49. And then finally, Washington versus Eagles. Really controversial game. No, you don't think so? I guess you didn't check the internet. That'd be why. Yeah, you saw Giants upset, which I mentioned it before we started the podcast that, I mean, they should have put themselves in a better position to make the playoffs than to rely on another team to get them in. I really don't know why Sudfield played when Wentz is second string. Eagles had strong chances of winning this game, and they tanked. And I know I saw some talk about Peterson getting fired pretty soon. I kind of wouldn't be surprised. Marvin, what do you have on this one?
Starters, Wentz was out of that game, so he couldn't have played even if he wanted to. And for second, the Giants can go cry about it because, like you said, they could have put themselves in a better position to win that game or to make the playoffs. In this game, Alex Smith, I've seen him do better, honestly, but he threw the ball 32 times, had 22 completions, had a 68.8 completion percentage, 162 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 2. I only saw one of those interceptions, so I guess the other one happened when I wasn't looking. But offensively, I didn't think Washington did that great in this game. I think they should have lost for obvious reasons, not just because the Eagles, not just because the Giants wanted the Eagles to win, but like the Eagles, they were actually losing. I can't speak. The Eagles were beating Washington pretty good for the first 3 quarters until they benched Jalen Hurts, who in this game threw the ball 20 times, had 7 completions, a 35 completion percentage, 72 passing yards, 1 interception. Okay, well, he looked good on the field anyway. Maybe the stats say differently, but
I mean, he did have two rushing touchdowns.
He did.
Yeah,
he did.
Which were their only 2 touchdowns. So I don't know why he got benched.
Yeah. I don't have that in my notes, so I apologize. But yeah, like I don't know what the Eagles were thinking. I heard that they benched him because they were trying to figure out who they want their franchise quarterback to be next year. And wouldn't logic tell you keep Hurts in the whole game? I guess they don't have logic up there in Philly. But in this game, I think Washington, they got the win. They beat the Eagles 20-14. I think they don't look good playing up against Tom Brady this Saturday, at least offensively. But they got the win, and the Eagles didn't. And Giants are not happy about it.
Why was Wentz out this game? Because
I don't know. I didn't hear why.
because that's another reason, like or another thing that I just don't get is that like he's right behind Hurts. Like he should have at least been ready to play in the game. And I mean, like you see that they could have won the game. Like you even said, they should have won the game. But especially with taking Hurts out, Hurts, as I said, scoring their only 2 touchdowns. It doesn't make sense what they did.
Technically, the way the Eagles were playing, if Hurts had stayed in the game, I think they could have hypothetically blown out Washington. At least make it. I think if Hurts had stayed in, I think the Eagles could have won 31-20.
Yeah,
because Hurts was playing pretty good, and there's no way. What's his name? Like
Sudfield.
that guy. You know the Eagles are not going to have him as their franchise quarterback. So why put him in the game? Why bother?
Yeah, that's what I saw a lot of people talking about was that, like, you know, if you're going to try out guys, Hurts should be one of the guys that you're trying out. Like, he's a rookie. Like, see what he can do.
And, like, he's been with the backup, I can't pronounce his name, but what's his name? Has been with, that guy. Thank you. He's been with that team for a few years, I believe. So, like, if he's been with that team that long, you already know he's not going to be the starter. So, I think they just wanted a better draft pick because I saw during the game that if the Eagles had won, they get a 9th draft pick, whereas opposed to if they lose, they get number 6, which makes sense. And I also think the Eagles wanted to lose just to mess with the Giants, which I find amusing.
Yeah, I think that as an NFL fan, you should be mad about this game. The only way that you shouldn't be is, of course, if you're a Washington fan or if you just hate the Giants. But as an NFL fan, the NFL chose to put this game on Sunday Night Football of Week 17, the finale to what has been a long and fun season, right? This was supposed to be the game to cap everything off, and it ended with a team tanking, with a team blowing a game. I mean, the worst possible way to end the season.
Much like 2020.
Yeah.
True. I think that Browns Steelers game would have been a good primetime game because that game actually mattered, you know, in a way that, like, for who was going to win the division, different ones like that. But
even the Cardinals Rams, and then the Bears would have been waiting for their playoff spot or not and stuff. I mean, there were a lot better options, and this one was just very disappointing to finish it out. And I heard that the Eagles say their coach said that they weren't trying to tank, that dude deserved to get some playing time, but there's no way. There's no way. This was clearly just trying to tank, and maybe for draft choice and that they hate the Giants. I don't know, but
I think it makes it worse that they weren't trying to tank. Like, just admit it, and it looks better. Even though, like, it's terrible that they tried to tank, said prime time, everything like that. But if they really weren't trying to tank, that means he's that bad of a coach and that, like, they're that bad of a team.
And he won a Super Bowl. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like I said, there must not be logic up there in Philly.
Yeah, I guess not. All right, now to do a rundown of the other games that we didn't get to talk about. Vikings beat the Lions 37-35, close game there. Patriots beat the Jets 28-14. Looks like Cam and the Pats might part ways now that the season's over. Marvin's excited about that. Giants beat the Cowboys 23-19. Bucks beat the Falcons 44-27. Saints beat Panthers 33-7. Packers beat Bears 35-16. Colts beat the Jags to help win their playoff spot 28-14. Raiders beat Broncos 32-31. And Seahawks beating the 49ers 26-23. Real quick, just Chiefs recap, talking about that Chargers game, and then we'll get into playoff talk. But that was to me, anyways, personally, that was an enjoyable game to watch. I know it was a loss, but a really good game by both teams. Herbert will be a good quarterback for years to come. I'm excited for those divisional matchups, especially if they get a good head coach. It'll make it really competitive. It's always pretty competitive with the Chargers, no matter how bad their season is going. But I'm really looking forward to that. And it was great seeing Henne have a pretty good game there, too.
His first start in 6 years.
Yeah.
The last time he played was in September. Don't remember what day, but September 2014 for the Jaguars. He was benched at halftime for Blake Bortles. He has not started a he has not started a game since. Pretty. He actually started pretty good. He was like what, 8 for 8, something like that.
I think so, yeah. Like
He's
100 yards, like a
Yeah.
touchdown and everything at that point, yeah.
And I've never really been a Chad Henne fan. And in this game, I was like, you know what? I'm glad this dude's our backup. Matt Moore did good for us last year, but I think this guy's better.
Yeah, it was good seeing that, especially since, he's not Mahomes level, obviously.
Yeah.
But he made it a good game to watch. I was happy for the Chargers to get that win. I think they kind of needed that with how their season's gone.
Yeah, they won over a backup team,
Yeah.
practice squad. Yeah, that's great. Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah, Chad Henne looked pretty good, but it was on all those little dink and dunk stuff to our backup players. I just don't understand. I think we could do that a lot more if we wanted with Patrick Mahomes, and maybe even put ourselves in better positions to win rather than taking all the chances that we do take. But he looked pretty good. What was disappointing to me was we were up 14-7. Defense forces a punt. McCole Hardman drops a kick. It wasn't one of our backups that dropped a kick. It was one of our starters who was the one who messed it up, lost the momentum for us, and we ended up losing the game. Obviously, didn't matter. But still, it's annoying that it was a starter that's messing up. I think that shows why these last 7 wins that we've had are all by less than a touchdown. It's just been little mistakes here and there that we've got to get cleaned up for the playoffs. The other thing is we did have those 2 injuries. Obviously, Willie Gay, high ankle sprain. They say he should be able to come back at some point in the playoffs. They're hoping. And then DeAndre Baker, who hadn't got any snaps for us before this game, but he has a broken left femur.
He was playing good, too. I hated seeing that.
Yeah, that sack on Justin Herbert. I was like, "Ooh, I'm so glad we got this guy." And then he breaks his leg. I'm like, "Oh well, that's unfortunate."
Yeah, I'm excited. I forgot what or how many years do we sign him for?
I think it was just this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, just this year.
So hopefully,
maybe they'll give him another chance.
Yeah, because in like I said, short time that he played, he looked pretty good. So we'll see.
Yep.
But yeah.
And don't forget, 2020 season was the first time in franchise history that the Chiefs went 14-2. I think that needs mentioning. It's pretty impressive. Yeah. I did not see us going 14-2 this year.
Yeah, I didn't either, especially with some of those games. Some of those games we probably shouldn't have. But yeah, Chiefs losing that one 38-21 against the Chargers. So yeah, then going into playoffs, like I said, really pumped for this playoffs, really all around. So first up, Colts at Buffalo. Who do you guys have winning this one?
You want to go, Drew?
Yeah, give me the Bills. I don't think Philip Rivers stands much of a chance. This is a horrible matchup for the Colts. They're not going to stop Josh Allen, and Rivers isn't putting up 50 points to compete with him. I don't think this one will be too close.
Bills will probably win, but I want to play devil's advocate, and I think Colts will win. I don't know. I can't explain it. If I try to explain it, you think I'm crazy, even though you think that anyway. But I just have a feeling, which I'm probably wrong, that Rivers and the Colts are going to upset Allen and the Bills in Buffalo.
I mean, they do have a good defense there.
Yeah, they do. I can't explain it. I got to leave it at that. I think Colts can win this game. Bills are not going to blow them out 50-0 like they did the Dolphins. That's not going to happen. It'll be closer, at least.
Yeah. Like I said, Colts have a good defense. But like I talked about last week, Allen and his targets that he has are very dangerous. Plus, Rivers is known for choking. So I don't know. We'll see. Allen played pretty bad in the playoffs last year. I was not impressed. So I'm hoping he has a better year because, I mean, he deserves it with how good of a season he had. Yeah, I'm taking Buffalo on this one. I reached out to Tony, and Tony also said Buffalo. He sees Buffalo winning this one. So, yeah, that'll be the first game.
I got one more thing to say. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a bit as big a blowout as the Dolphins game, but I think it'll be about a 2-score win. So still a pretty good win. And Josh Allen was an average quarterback last year. I think he's top 5 this year. It's a big difference. I don't know. I don't think Buffalo will lose this one at all.
They shouldn't.
Yeah.
But if they do, I'll be very happy because I want to play Philip Rivers again.
Yeah, which I mean, like Allen looked pretty good in the season though, but then once it hit playoffs, he couldn't handle the pressure. But yeah, I think he is a different quarterback this year. I think he will be able to handle it better. Yeah, I could see a 2-score game.
He's more likely to win than Lamar Jackson is, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I think so. And that Bills team, just as a whole. So yeah. All right, then next game on Saturday, Rams at Seahawks. What about this one?
Seahawks easily, 54-0. No, Seahawks will win. They're going to win. Put it that way. I don't have faith in the Rams. We don't even know if Jared Goff is playing at this point, do we?
I don't think so.
I think regardless if he's in or out, Seahawks are going to win. They're in Seattle.
I think Seahawks proved that they're going to win this game by beating him twice with Jared Goff in the regular season. Both those games were close, though. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Seahawks still are going to win, and I don't think it's going to be like as much in question. Like I think the Seahawks are going to win for sure, but I think it'll be close.
As of today, Jared Goff looking iffy for Saturday. Yesterday, McVay said he was unsure if Goff will play. Kind of doubt it. I said Wolford played a good game, but I mean, this is against Seattle, so and I'm really looking forward to this divisional matchup.
They have Blake Bortles on the roster, right?
Mm-hmm. Because they just signed him just before.
If I was the Rams, I would start him, or at least put in the game at some point over the guy that just played yesterday.
Wolford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bortles has playoff experience, which is very weird to say. It's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I'm still taking Seahawks on this one. I think this one should be a good game. I don't know if it'll be super close, but and then Tony also said Seahawks. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. One that I have no idea if it'll be close or not. Bucks at Washington. Washington getting the home game after winning the division. They just got to win, like we talked about versus the Eagles, even though the Eagles tanked and that's how they won. But I don't know. What do you guys think about this one?
I think Brady and the Bucks are going to win. I can see this being their only playoff win, despite what Tony says. But the Washington's offense, they played terrible versus the Eagles, in my opinion. But the defense, I think, is pretty good. So I think their defense will give the Bucks some trouble. But I still expect the Buccaneers to come out with a win.
Yeah, I like how the Washington matches up with the Bucks. I think they definitely match up the best out of the NFC East. Because Tom Brady is insane if he doesn't get pressured, and he's been struggling with some pressure. Obviously, the Washington is going to get pressure with Chase Young, but overall their offense isn't good enough, and the Bucks will still put up points. I think the Bucks win this one. I do like the matchup for Washington though, so it could be interesting.
I could see an upset, honestly, but
I could too.
I just think like I said, offense for Washington. That's the only downside for me. And like you said last week, Drew, that Tom Brady's really heating up at the right time. Getting ready to go into the playoffs. He's definitely been playing the best he has all year. I know it's against teams, kind of like we talked about last week, that don't have a winning record, that aren't that great, but still really accurate throws, which is unlike him this season. And yeah, if they win and if it goes with Seahawks winning, and I know we haven't talked about the Saints game, but if the Saints win, Bucks will be going to Lambeau, which so I agree with that. If they win this game, I think that's going to be their only playoff win, but we'll see. That would be a cool game.
To be fair,
Brady.
the Buccaneers did beat the Packers in the regular season, but then again, that was at Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like I said, I could see an upset, but I'm still taking Bucks.
Yeah. It's very convenient how Tony is in this episode.
True.
Since we're all hyping up Tom Brady for the first time all season, he can't be like, come on.
It's crazy because this game he picked Washington. Oh, wait, no. Never mind, he picked Bucks. No, yeah, obviously he picked Bucks to win it. Probably going to pick Bucks to win the Super Bowl.
One of those.
But yeah, I'm still looking forward to this one. Like I said, Drew, like if they pressure Brady, that's when he's shown to fall apart the most this season. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I don't know because I think they can get pressure on him. But even if he only scores 21 points, Washington offense might not score more than that.
Yeah, because it's Alex Smith, and even though he's, I think he'll be comeback player of the year. I think he's a great quarterback still. He still does what he did in Kansas City, where just the short passes, which
but
works to an extent, but still.
He's still not the same though, because he's basically playing on one leg now. He's not as mobile as he used to be, because he's more mobile when he's with the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's true.
I expect Tom Brady to beat Alex Smith in this game, but you never know. Somehow Washington's in the playoff. So, and I would love an upset, just because Tony, he wouldn't like that too much, but I would.
Sure, that'd be good. That'd be so much fun. Then moving on to Sunday's game, the first one up there. The first one up there is the Ravens at Titans. What do you guys think about this one?
Revenge game. Ravens gonna win. I know. Lamar Jackson's gonna get his first playoff win, and that's gonna be it.
Yeah, this is one of the games that I'm probably the game I'm most excited for. Honestly, obviously. Titans figured out how to stop the Ravens last year. And Lamar Jackson was playing similar in the regular season last year, obviously, to what he was this year. That's why he won MVP. But I think the Ravens get this one. The Titans defense does not look as good, without a doubt. They were a lot better last year, and I don't think that they can stop Lamar Jackson this year. And that could be the difference. It may not be that high scoring because both of them are obviously going to run the ball. Ravens run, and then Derrick Henry's going to get a lot of touches, but I think Ravens take this one.
Yeah, I think if Ravens shut down Henry, I think that's kind of game because, like I said, Jackson can throw when he needs to. And he showed that last game. Like I said, I know that was the Bengals, whatever, but still, I think Ravens are too hot right now to lose this game. I think Titans just aren't a good enough team right now. Like I said, they haven't really impressed me that much this season. I know I said I don't think Henry's always the best. And then he goes out and gets, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns and stuff in a game. And I think that's kind of where I'm coming from with that, because then the game before he had 98 yards, didn't really do anything. So I don't know. have Ravens on this one.
Yeah, the Titans to me have the feel. I mean, I think that this game this last week explains it all. They scored 41 points, still almost lost the game, right? Henry and them are going to put up points, but is it going to be enough? I could see it going either way, but I got the Ravens for sure.
Yeah, same. And then Tony also has the Ravens winning that one.
I would say out of any of the playoff games this weekend, I'd say that this would be the one that's a toss-up for the most part.
I don't know. I think Sunday night's game.
That's true. I forgot about that.
I don't know. Because of how the teams have played this season, how some teams have played like so. I know I use that word a lot, but inconsistent, to where I don't know, but what's going to happen. Because some teams that looked really good are playing teams that don't look good at all, and it's an upset. So I could see this one being a toss-up. Then that next game, Bears at Saints. I don't think this one will be that much of a game, personally, but what do you guys think about this one?
Saints got a bye week after all.
True.
I mean, do you want to go, Drew? Should I finish?
Oh, you go ahead.
Oh, thank you. This is, unfortunately, probably Drew Brees' last playoff run, his last season in his career, which is very unfortunate because I do like Drew Brees. But heading into this game, the Saints are home. They're 12-4. The Bears are 8-8. I think they'd be better if they had kept Trubisky all year long instead of going to Foles. But the Bears didn't listen to me, despite how many emails I sent them. I think the Saints are going to beat the Bears in this game pretty easily. The Bears, they shouldn't even be here. It should be the Cardinals, not the Bears. But that's life.
I think that this game definitely has upset potential. I do. Trubisky's playing the best football of his entire career, and the Bears' defense is always going to be their strength. Plus, the Saints have definitely blown a lot of playoff games. Last year, I didn't think that they had a shot to lose to the Vikings last year, and then obviously Vikings end up winning that. So I think that it could be a blowout, but I also think that it could be I think the Saints could blow them out, or the Bears could win close. I think it could be a wide variety of outcomes. I'm picking the Saints, though.
Yeah, I mean, in their last game, or when they played on November 1st, Saints won it 26-23. So even then, it was a close game.
Who is quarterback, though?
I'm not sure. Let's see.
Trubisky is playing the best football of his career.
That's Saints.
Breeze versus Foles.
Yeah, see, that makes a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't this Bears team like 5-7 at one point? Now they're 8-8 and in the playoffs.
Sure, sounds good to me.
Yeah, they started off like 5-0 too, didn't they? Something like that. Like I thought they were a legit team. I remember me and Tony talking about that.
Yeah, and I remember someone disagreed with that, but
I don't remember who though. But
yeah,
so I think, but yeah, I think Saints. I think Saints are one of the best all-around teams in the playoffs. I think they got a really good offense, really good defense. Breeze has had time to recover from his injury.
He played good against the Panthers. I think he had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, which I mean,
he's doing a lot better now.
I mean, he even played good against the Chiefs too. So and that was when he said that he wasn't at 100%. So yeah, I'm taking Saints on this one. Tony also taking Saints on this one.
He would.
He would. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I think one of the games I'm looking forward to the most probably is this next one. That one and like you said, Drew, the Raven Titans. But this Browns at Steelers game, I think this one could go either way, honestly. So I don't know. We'll see. What do you guys think about this one?
Give me the Steelers.
Yeah.
I don't think the Browns have too big hopes in this one. I think this is one of the worst matchups for them. Obviously losing to them early in the season, then almost beating them without Ben Roethlisberger and T.J. Watt. I think the Steelers match up really well against the Browns. Browns have been bad against the division, obviously losing both of them to the Ravens and then almost losing both to the Steelers. I like the Steelers in this one. I would like for the Browns to win. I would like for it to be a close game, but I think the Steelers handle it.
It is the Browns, though, and it's not the Browns we're used to. I can't see an upset. Like, I don't know. The 2020 Browns are, I don't know what they are. Somehow they're 11-5. Somehow they're in the playoffs for the first time since 2002. I can see the Browns winning this game. Like you, though, I got Steelers winning. I don't really think Browns are going to win. But at the same time, I also think they have a chance, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, Browns have some fire to them. And so I think whatever happens, I think they're not going to go down without a fight. But also if they start ahead in games, I mean, you said Steelers started coming back in that Browns game. Steelers came back in that Colts game. You know, the Steelers still have a good team there.
In their last matchup in Pittsburgh, the Browns got blown out. I don't think that's going to happen this time.
Yeah. I think if I was to pick a game, would you say playing devil's advocate with the Colts Buffalo game? I think this would be one that I would pick Browns on. I'm still picking Steelers. I think that's the most likely thing that's going to happen. But like I said, I could still see it going either way.
It'd be awesome if Browns won, though.
That'd be insane.
Can you imagine the sports world? They'd be like, what now? What just happened?
Yeah.
2020 for revenge. That's what.
Yeah. Yeah, Tony also picking Steelers on that one. So it looks like we got all the same teams, right? Besides that Colts Buffalo one.
No, I got Bills winning. I'm just saying, it's like this one. I could see it going either way.
Oh, okay. So I would pick all the same teams. Yeah, which would end up sending Ravens to Kansas City and would send the Bucks to Green Bay, which I like both of those. I think home field advantage for both Chiefs and Green Bay are huge. Like I said, I think last week with the noise still there in Kansas City, even with less fans, the weather, can play a part in it some, but especially at Lambeau, with how cold that can get. I think I said it last week too, that I think that's the biggest home field advantage in the playoffs.
Yeah, you got to look at not only the cold, but who would they be playing, right? The only other northern team in the NFC is the Bears. And obviously the Packers own the Bears. The other ones are all in the South. They have the biggest home field advantage because all these are warm weather teams. They're going to have to go to Lambeau if they want to compete in the Super Bowl. And
not even just home field advantage, but the Packers are a great team anyways. Or obviously best team in the NFC. But they're a good team anyway. So adding that plus the home field advantage there, I could see them being a Super Bowl team for sure.
I don't know if this is too early. I don't know if y'all want to talk about this now, but I can honestly see a Super Bowl I rematch this year. Chiefs and Packers.
I was already thinking that, yeah.
That's what I've had for a few weeks, yeah.
I don't know.
Chiefs winning this time, of course.
AFC is pretty tough. I don't think we'll lose to a team, but I mean, we have Ravens, Bills, Steelers, different ones like that we might possibly have to play. So it'll be a tough road for us. I think it'll be less tough for the Packers with the NFC not being that great. I mean, but they'd still have, possibly Saints, Seahawks, ones that will at least put up a good fight against them. But I could for sure see a Packers-Chiefs Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but the team I'm most scared of, if I'm the Chiefs, is the Bills in either conference. It's going to definitely be a tough one. It's not going to be easy for the Chiefs.
Yeah, so hopefully Marvin's right. Colts can win.
Colts.
That'd be crazy.
I'll make you so happy.
I would like to see
Yeah.
us play Rivers, then Roethlisberger, then Brady, beat all the old quarterbacks, and walk out of here with the Super Bowl trophy.
Well, even Packers with Rodgers.
Or the
too.
Saints with Breeze too.
Yeah, that's true. So either way, like I think those are the most likely teams to go.
Unless the
out of
Seahawks do
NFC.
it, and even that would be fun. Wilson, Mahomes.
Yeah. Now, I'm just hoping it's a good playoffs, good Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Not like that with the Patriots Rams Super Bowl, garbage Super Bowl. That's all I hope for. It's just that it's good.
That should have been Chiefs Saints. Oh my.
Yeah,
That would have been so much better. So much better.
Or any team in there besides those two. But yeah, it's a really pumped for this year's playoffs. It's starting Saturday and then on Sunday. Well, to wrap it up, coming up in other sports news, Missouri basketball is doing really good. Won on Saturday against Arkansas, number 12 right now in the nation with a 7-1 schedule. Play Mississippi State on Tuesday and then LSU on Saturday. And also something that we meant to talk about last week and I completely forgot is the college football playoffs. Yeah, we didn't do predictions for that, but that's fine. But the final game is next Monday, Alabama versus Ohio State. Fields played an insane game last game, injured for about half the game, still threw 6 touchdowns, was limping off the field after every drive after that. I'm going to be rooting for Ohio State, a big part because of that. I think Alabama will end up winning that one. But I think that'll be an interesting game. So that's next Monday at 7 p.m. And then the Chiefs this next week, just resting and, our guys getting to watch their next opponent. Hopefully giving our guys time to rest up, recover. Clyde Edwards-Helaire hopefully going to recover in time. And so, yeah, we'll see how this playoffs goes. Well, thank you, Marvin and Drew, for your comments. Thank you to the fans for supporting and listening. You can listen to us on YouTube, Facebook, and most streaming apps. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. This has been another KC Sports Memes podcast.